Hello, everyone, and welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Carrere and Tats. And this week, we've been doing movies from 1986. And oh man, do I have one for you guys. The movie that I'm talking about is a zombie film, but right off the bat, I'll let you know it's not a George Romero, Lucio Fulci coming back from the dead, eating people kind of zombie film. No, what we got here is it's a very old. The storyline is very old. It's kind of tried and true, very Tales from the Crypt kind of a story. The movie I'm talking about is called Zombie Nightmare, and unfortunately, I don't have a physical copy to show you guys. I think it was Synapse that put out a physical copy here a while back, but I think it's out of print right now, and it goes for. Um, I don't remember if they put it out on Blu-ray. I know they put out like a DVD special edition of it, but yeah, but it's pretty much gone out of print. It goes for incredibly high prices online. But yeah, Zombie Nightmare from 1986, and oh man, this movie, I tell you, boy. Anyway, it's a like I said, it's a very old kind of tried and true kind of very EC Comics kind of a horror film. The storyline we begin with this little boy named Tony Washington, and he's just having fun, and he's watching his dad. His dad's like teaching kids, coaching softball, baseball, things like this. And he's there with his mom. He's watching his dad coach these kids and stuff, and he loves baseball and everything. And so they get they're wrapping up for the day. Well, we got these two hoods. You could tell they're hoods because they got like the slick back greasy hair, kind of like the spit curl and all that stuff. They're wearing like the they're wearing like the white shirts, tucked into the jeans, the cuffs rolled up and everything else, and you know, looking like rejects from Grease, pretty much. Well, these two guys, they're watching the practice, just hanging out, and just a little bit further away from them is this young African American girl, and she's just watching too. She's not doing anything, not causing any trouble or anything like that. So of course these kids they're racist, and they decide that uh, they want to take this young black girl, and they want to rape her, pretty much. So they go and they start stalking her and everything, and she's just walking home, minding her own business. Well, they come up and they start messing with her, and and it's weird because it's like usually, I mean, please, it's like rape is disgusting, it's awful. I don't condone it in any shape, fashion, or form. Okay, please don't ever think that. It's just, it's kind of weird. Like, if you're going to sexually assault a woman, you don't do it on somebody's lawn right there in the middle of suburbia. But that's what these guys do. They drag this girl, over to this lawn, and they pull her down on the ground. They're attempting to attack her. Well, at the same time, well, Bill and his wife and little Tony Washington, they're walking home. Well, they come by and they see this. Well, Bill decides he's going to step in and he's going to help, get these kids off this girl. So he goes, he fights the kids and everything. And it's so funny because it doesn't look like a just kind of like a dirty kind of a brawl street fight or anything like. I mean, it's so choreographed. It's not even choreographed very well, but it is a choreographed fight, and so he beats these kids up and everything else, and he's checking on the girl. Well, one of the guys, actually pulls a switchblade knife because, of course, greaser, So he pulls a switchblade knife and he stabs Bill, and Bill dies. But the two guys run away. The girl is pretty much saved, but unfortunately, Tony has to watch his father die. So now we cut 2 years later, and now Tony has grown up, and Tony is played by musician John Mikl Thor, who had kind of a hair band back in the '80s, and horror fans will definitely remember him as the star and the screenwriter of the immortal classic Rock and Roll Nightmare. But yeah, John Mikl Thor, actor, musician, songwriter, screenwriter, bodybuilder, all this kind of stuff. Well, anyway, now he's Tony grown up, and he's kind of in a way following in his dad's footsteps. He's playing baseball, and he hits a home run, and he's happy he won and everything. So he's going home and all this stuff. And he goes up and his mother, he's like, "Hey, mom, we won the game and all this stuff." She says, "Well, that's great, honey, but what, did you pick up the groceries on the way home?" It's, "Oh man, I forgot." So it's like, I'll run back to the store and I'll pick up the groceries and everything. So he goes off. Well, meanwhile, we got this group of kids, and oh, oh my God, these characters! Like the instant they come up on screen, they may as well have, like, they're all sitting in a club, and they're just carrying on, raising hell, just causing problems, making a lot of noise and stuff like that. But they're all sitting in kind of a big booth and everything, and they may as well have a big neon sign over them that says "victims." Because they're clearly, like, the instant you see them, you can tell that's exactly what they're going to be. And their leader is this kid, Jimbo. And this kid, he's horrible. I mean, he's just a disgusting kid. I mean, like, you see this, you could definitely tell it's 1986. He's got the big hair, like, all over the place, and his hair just always flying all over the place and stuff. Well, so they're just making a lot of noise, carrying on, and one of the kids in this group actually is Tia Carrere. This is pre Wayne's World Tia Carrere and stuff. Before she ever became popular, really, and kind of her first movie. But she, of course, she looks stunning as she always did and always does, and everything. But anyway, so they're causing problems, and the people in the booth next to them are like, "Hey, can you guys keep it down? You guys are causing too much trouble." Well, Jimbo pulls a knife on the guy and everything, so him and his girl, they get up and they leave, and so then the bouncer comes over and he ends up kicking the kids out of the club because they're all under 21, and so they're all like, "Well, what are we gonna do now?" and all this kind of stuff. And so, they're like, "Hey, their words, not mine. They're like, 'Hey, let's go find some sleazy chicks,' So they all pile into Jimbo's car and they're just driving around, blasting music and everything else, just carrying on, kind of doing what kids do and stuff. Well, anyway, so now we go back to Tony, he's at this, little convenience store, this Italian convenience store, and the most Italian man you've ever seen in your life. You don't get more of an Italian name than Hank Peters. Okay, it's like there's never been a more Italian name than Hank Peters. But anyway, so he's in the convenience store and they're talking. You could tell, like, Tony's shopped at this convenience store a lot, and this little market and stuff, and you could tell that they know each other, and he, Hank, he knows Tony, he knows his mother, knows the family and stuff. So they're just kind of talking and everything else. And so Tony's like, "Oh, I forgot my wheat germ," So he goes to the back of the store. Well, two guys come in and they decide they're going to hold up the convenience store. And so they pull the gun on Hank and everything else. And so Tony comes up, and what is probably the most worst, if not the worst, definitely one of the worst, most choreographed fight scenes you've ever seen in a movie. Tony, starts fighting these guys and, knocks the gun out of their hands and, throws both of them out of the store single-handedly, being a big, tough, muscular hero and all that kind of shit. So he fights the guys off, and so he and Hank, they have a little exchange and all this. Well, so Tony's going out, it's like, he's got like just kind of like a sleeveless shirt on and stuff, a muscle shirt, and so he's like, "Ooh, it's kind of cold," so he puts his hoodie on and he starts walking. Well, as fate would have it, as Tony's walking across the street, here comes Jimbo and his gang in their car, and they don't stop. They mow Tony over, hit him with the car, and then they decide, they're, instead of stopping and dealing with the accident or anything like that, all the kids in the car, no, get the hell out of here, go, let's go, move. So they haul ass and they get out of there, and so Hank comes out, sees Tony dead, and so he takes he finds a couple of people who also happen to know Tony and his family. I guess it's a small town where everybody knows everybody, I guess. So they put Tony in the car, they take him home, they take his body home to his mother, and she's grieving, she's, upset, and obviously, as any mother would be, their child is dead and everything else. And she's pretty much kind of lost it, it's like she lost her husband years ago, now she's lost her son. And so she's telling the two guys that help Hank bring Tony home, she's like, "Do you know Molly McKimbe?" And it turns out that Molly McKimbe is actually the young black girl that Bill saved at the beginning of the movie. And so they're like, yeah, we know her. So, yeah, go over to her house, tell her I need her, bring her over here. She owes me a favor. And so, Molly comes over and, she's all like, I want revenge, I want vengeance for what was done to Tony and everything. So Molly decides it turns out she's actually a voodoo priestess. So she does a ritual. She brings Tony back from the dead. Now Tony's a zombie, but like I say, he's not the gut chomping, tear people apart and eat their limbs kind of a zombie. He's just kind of like the old voodoo zombie, who kind of follows orders and is now he's brought back on a mission, and his mission is to get revenge on the kids that killed him. And then, of course, we got to find out that Jimbo and his crew, like, they don't, of course, you can't really make them sympathetic. You got, like, one or two who are like, oh, my God, I feel bad for what we did. But most of them are like, even Tia Carrere is like, oh, screw that guy and all that kind of stuff, and he was just a punk. Nobody cares about him and all this kind of stuff. So Jimbo is like, he's so thrilled at the idea that he got to kill somebody. And he's in there, he's like waxing philosophical and stuff. Oh man, I took a guy's life and snuffed out that big candle. I'm so happy and all this stuff. Well, then next thing you know, Tony comes along and now he's a zombie and everything. And with the zombie makeup, I hate to say it, but well, no, actually, I don't hate to say it, but like Tom Savini, Greg Nicotero, you guys don't have to worry. I mean, the zombie makeup in this movie is not going to give you guys a run for your money. But yeah, Tony starts, the process of one by one going after these kids and, taking them out, getting revenge on the kids, on the people that killed them. And then we're introduced to a couple of other, characters. We're introduced to Frank, a detective, played by Frank Dietz, who, he's probably, I will say he's probably like the one actor in the movie who does a good job. You could tell he's really trying to give a good, sincere performance, even though there are moments where his character does come off as a little abrasive, his character does come off a little insensitive, but he's overall a good character, and he's trying to solve these murders and find out what's happening. And so he has to go and of course, as a detective, he has to report to his captain. The captain is played by Adam West. Now, Adam West, I think both Frank Dietz and Adam West, I think both of them really turn in good performances, and Adam West, I think we all know that he was a genuinely good actor. But I think the thing about the thing about Adam West was just that he was one of those actors, along the veins of like John Carrera. He was one of those actors. He was really good, but he said yes to a lot of movies he should have said no to. There were movies that he did, people were all like, well, maybe the paycheck was good, but dude, you really should have just passed on it. It's like, the man was really a good talent, and he's done some genuinely good work in his career. And, and he's very well liked, a lot of people like Adam West. I like what Adam West, he was, hell, he was hilarious on Family Guy and stuff. But, so anyway, he's going and he's reporting to the captain, and it turns out the captain has some dark secrets of his own. I don't want to get too much into that for those of you who haven't seen the movie. But so now it's just kind of like, the group of kids is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as Tony's getting revenge on these kids. And, it's up to Frank and the captain to try to, figure out what's going on and stop it, and everything else. And it's kind of a race against time. Overall, this movie, excuse me, the premise is really good. It's not an original premise. It's been done many times. Like I said, it's very EC, very Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror kind of a premise. And, when done well, it's very fun and entertaining to watch this kind of a story. That's the problem. In here, it's not done well at all. The script has a lot of problems with it. A lot of the acting is really over the top or very mediocre. It's just, the movie is not photographed well. Even when you see it in, like a pristine, DVD or Blu-ray upgrade, the picture quality is still not very good. I'm going to be honest with you. Same thing along the lines of Touch of Satan. The way I discovered this movie was Mystery Science Theater 3000. And I would recommend, I think you can watch the whole movie on YouTube, but here's the thing. I think because of copyright issues, I think they when you're watching the movie has a, very sorry, my throat's dry. The movie has a great soundtrack. You got some good bands on there. I mean, at the beginning, the opening credits plays with, Motorhead playing Ace of Spades. I was getting ready to say Ace of Base. Ace of Spades, but you got some really good music in here. But I think if you watch the movie on YouTube, I think they do. I think they take the volume out so that because of copyright issues with the songs. But I would highly recommend if you're going to watch this movie, probably kind of like the same thing like Touch of Satan. Probably the best way to watch it is the Mystery Science Theater version. The jokes are really really funny on there. They really get some good jokes. It's kind of like a toss-up trying to figure out what they do more jokes of. Did they do more Batman jokes? Every time Adam West is on screen, they're constantly making Batman jokes. So is it either more Batman jokes or is it more Canadian jokes? It's kind of like neck and neck between those two kinds of jokes. But anyway, the kills in the movie are very unremarkable, very kind of ho-hum. There's like one interesting kill that involves a baseball bat. I'm not going to give that away, but the rest of the movie, it's like either Tony just coming up behind somebody and grabbing them and snapping their neck, or like he comes up behind somebody, grabs their head and like bashes their head into the wall, things like this. Just kind of really unremarkable kills, like I said, except for that one. They're just kind of but yeah, just the movie is not particularly good. It's you can tell it's incredibly low budget and stuff. Like I said, I mean, Adam West is fun to watch in the movie. He does a good job. Frank Dietz does a good job. Tia Carrere, basically, you could tell she was just starting, and a lot of her characters, just a lot of shouting and a lot of screaming. So not much there, kind of a lot of her characters just kind of there to be eye candy, obviously. But I would say, this might be one of those movies that probably a lot of people would see, and it's kind of like one of those so bad it's good kind of movies. But when you watch the movie by itself, it really is kind of a slog to get through. It's kind of a chore. So that's another reason too why I say, yeah, probably if you're gonna watch this, probably watch the Mystery Science Theater episode of it, and that'll kind of help get you through it a little bit better. But overall, if you like pretty bad movies, and like I said, you might be one of those ones. You might look at this and say it's so bad that it's good. And like I said, just the premise actually is not a bad premise. It's just the execution isn't done very well. It's just executed very poorly. Had it not been for that, then yeah, the movie would be awesome. But anyway, so that's going to pretty much do it. Zombie Nightmare, can't really recommend it too much, but like I said, if you love like really bad movies, bad dialogue, bad pacing, things like that, you probably get a kick out of this. Or like I said, the best thing I would suggest, watch on Mystery Science Theater. So that's going to do it. I think I've rambled on more than long enough. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it, and I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different reviewer, one for every day of the week. I'm the Saturday reviewer. Different guys every day of the week. Everybody's doing great stuff. We got more fun theme weeks coming and everything else, so stay tuned for that. And that's it. So everybody, take care, have a good night, and I'll see you later.